Let me take it back to the personal level because you brought it up. 71, you're drafted. Just kind of take us back in time. What was it like to be a young person like yourself with, you don't know what your fate's going to be?
Well, the Vietnam War worked its way into the kitchen table in every family kitchen in the United States. Why? Because of the selective service, because of the draft. It's not like the Iraq War or the Afghanistan War where you have a volunteer army. Every young person in the United States in 1965, say who was my age, then 14, would think, well, when I'm 18, I might be drafted. I might go to Vietnam. Same with my brothers. And so each and every family had to take up the discussion, well, what is it going to mean for our children to go to Vietnam, thousands of miles away to fight in these jungles? What is it for? And so it brought the war home in a very sort of tangible way. I think that's one of the reasons the Pentagon got rid of the selective service after the war, so that the war seemed very far away instead of in everybody's living room or kitchen. But when you were 15 years old, you thought, oh, the war will be over in a couple of years. By the time I'm 18 or 19, it'll be over. And then when you're 17, it's like, still not over. And by the time you're 19, in my case, I was 19, and I won the lottery. I was number 6. My birthday came up number 6. So I got my draft notice in 1971. So for a whole generation of young people, men and women, boys and girls, but their parents as well, they were talking about what happens if our kids go to Vietnam? What is it for? Is it worth it? Now, in World War II, when my father went into the war, there was no question about whether or not that was a good idea. He and all the people his age either were drafted, or if they weren't drafted, they enlisted. They thought the war was the right thing. They were fighting fascism in Europe, or Japanese imperialism and militarism in Asia. The United States government could never make that case really with the American people. So over time, as it became clear that the war was unwinnable, as the casualty numbers went up and up, 58,000 Americans died, 400,000 were wounded, 75,000 were severely disabled, and I'm not talking about the millions of Vietnamese who died. People woke up every morning and were confronted with the newspaper about the body count in Vietnam. Every morning we looked at the headlines. 150 Viet Cong were killed. The enemy was always terrorists. They weren't just people. But nonetheless, this kind of seeped into everyone's consciousness, and along with this American civil rights movement, became the dominant generation shifting issue for the entire population.